Um, uh, just to clarify, this is a message from the head of corporate affairs at NITA. He says NITA is government's agency responsible for regulating ICT and the custodian of government agencies' data. As such, NITA provides the facility, the National Data Center with racks, and the conducive environment to store their service, which can be accessed by the respective agency only. The NCA server, therefore, can only be accessed by officials of NCA through stringent security protocols. So, is this going to the NCA's server at NITA, or is it going to the NIA's server at NITA? This biometric data that we are providing.
Okay, like I explained earlier on, NIA have their own data in their own place where they have the Ghana card information.
Right.
This information goes to, I'm sure you know about Executive Instrument 63, where the Minister for Communications and Digitalization was actually mandated by the President to set up a central SIM register. So this information goes into the central SIM register. That is the stage one information. And again, the stage two biometric information is also put in a different server to cross match against NIA's server.
So I guess that's where the problem is, because I think we've already established that the NIA is the only institution mandated by law to gather and uh, process our biometric data. And by the time we come to our telco to give them this data that NCA,
We are not giving the biometric data to the telco. Let me please clarify this. This
that's not what I
information,
said. I
no, you
said
said
by
we
the
are
time
giving, by the time we give this information to the telco, the information is not being given to the telco. It is being, um, how do I, as it were to say, it's being driven to a server. So at no stage does this information stay with the telco.
Thank you for the correction. So the data goes to NITA and it is held in the NCA servers at NITA.
Yes.
All right. So my question remains: if the law says only the NIA can hold our biometric data, and the NIA has its own arrangement for that, its own service, and they have already collected my biometric data, why am I giving my biometric data to the NCA again at the end of this SIM registration
To
process?
cross-check the biometrics that were taken by the NIA. And at the end of this information, this data is kept secured as mentioned by NITA here.
So why
So
don't
it
you
is,
just have machines at the telcos where I can provide my biometric data and it will cross-check it against the NIA database
I think
rather
we
than
I
gathering.
think we talked about this earlier on, that there's a stage in time when we have to do the SIM registration exercise. We cannot wait until NIA is everywhere before we do this. Let's talk about the issue of the lady talking about the bank, and the issue of NIA even now linking up with the various institutions that have already collected biometric information and are linking up and syncing all that information. So this is just one of that process.
But Mrs. Bedu, by the time I get to that stage of the process, I have given my biometric data to NIA.
And
That's
so that
that's the only way I can get to that
there is
stage
a
of the
link.
process.
And so there is a link to make sure that that information is synced. It's the same thing that NIA is doing with SNITs. It's the same thing that NIA is doing with NHIS. And it's a government institution. And so we have to make sure that this is done to be able to secure our SIM database.